Welcome to Corpstruction, a show about the missions, activities, and employees of the Tulsa District U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I'm your host, Brandon Parrish. Back in 2014, a recreation planner named Jason Knight arrived on the scene in Tulsa District. Jason came to us from the Mobile District. A former park ranger from the Lake Altoona Project Office in Cartersville, Georgia, Jason began looking for areas to improve business processes here at the Tulsa District. By 2016, Jason hosted the first season of the Tulsa District's innovation team and has watched the initiative go from a district team to a division team, now to a national program with 22 districts and 52 team members represented. Jason Knight is joining us today to talk about Innovations Program and how that program's going now. Welcome, Jason.
Hey there. Thank you for having me.
So, gosh, man, you're on season 6 of the Innovations team now, right?
It's flying by.
It's flying by.
Yeah, it's flying by. It's been a good 6 seasons.
Yeah, you guys have done a lot of things. So that first season in 2016, I remember we had a meeting down at, Lake Texoma? That was the first iteration or the first season, or was that second season? Maybe it was.
No, that's the first season.
That was the first season. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's just grown. You've got a partnership multiple partnerships now, right? And,
absolutely.
You've really done a lot of work. So to start, tell us all about what the Innovations team is. Give us a breakdown on that and what you guys try to accomplish.
Okay. No, it all started with really a need that we saw in the field. I know personally I would go out and hang out with the park rangers, because I'm first and foremost a outdoor recreation planner, a natural resource specialist. That's why I came to Tulsa District for that job. And so, in that job, I get to hang out with park rangers to show them how to do certain programs. One of them is metering, showing them how to do meters, how to do our systems. Whatnot, and various different programs, and connecting with these guys and riding around with these guys. They would start opening up to me and talking to me, and when they did that, I would notice that they had a lot of cool ideas. Now, obviously, some of the ideas were kind of far fetched and out there, but I turned to myself and I was like, you know what, these guys have a lot of great ideas. And it wasn't just one particular area. I would go to all parts of the Tulsa District, which include Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. And it was pretty much the same. I pretty much got the same response everywhere I went. It was, I would ask, hey, why haven't we capitalized off this? Or, hey, what's your next step in this idea? And I would always get the same responses everywhere I go. It was crazy. They would say that there was no money, no resources, and because of that, management said we didn't have time to invest in it, so we're just going to put it to the side. So I looked into that, and since we were having such a repetition of that, or it seemed like we were at the time, I had this idea of, what if we create an innovations team to apply resources and manpower to some of these great ideas, and come up with something that we can do as a district to solve this problem. So I came back to the district office. I talked to Ken Dunlop, who was my rec chief back then, and he loved the idea. So we kind of sat down and hashed out, the nuts and bolts of what would eventually become the innovations team. With the team, obviously we had to figure out how it was going to work, who was going to be on it, exactly what we were going to do. So the mission of the team never has changed. It's always been to seek out and find those great ideas in the field and apply resources and manpower to them. And then to get that idea into a prototype phase, to see what it tastes like, touches like, smells like, whatever. It's a physical product right in front of your face that you can see. Because in my experience with management, and I think this goes for Army, any agency, private sector, whoever, whoever's making the decisions, it's going to be a whole lot easier for them to say yes if you have a tangible product instead of just going and asking permission or pitching an idea on paper. 9 times out of 10, they're going to default to no. So we really wanted to make this team a yes team and an innovations team. So we started out that way. We came up with an innovation season because what we're going to have on our innovations team, we're probably going to be all park rangers because that's mainly who we were targeting. But not just park rangers. We also were going to have environmental specialists, maybe some maintenance folks, maybe some admin folks, maybe some lake managers, you name it. We're going to have it's going to be a field-driven team. So we decided, since recreation season is so hectic, we couldn't really do anything during that time. So we decided, okay, it stops getting crazy in the rec season probably around September, October, and then it picks right back up, especially in May. So we decided, why don't we make an innovation season from September, October to May. And we're like, all right, that sounds cool. Let's do that. And then we decided, let's make this team not exclusive, but inclusive. We're going to invite everybody in the Tulsa District. So we decided to come up with a summit, which would be our kickoff meeting in September. I think we had one in October, but majority have been in September. And we'd invite everybody who has an innovative idea. You can either give it to a team member who's on our team, or you can bring it to the summit yourself, pitch it, and our team would actually vote on what innovation they thought they could get accomplished. Because the new goal of this team was going to be you had to get a tangible prototype done before May 1st. Because when it turns to May 1st, we want to take that prototype, and if management sees potential in it, we want to pilot it in the field to see how it does. So we have our summit. Of course, that's the collection of ideas. We then came up with, we needed more time to work on these innovations than 1 week coming together. So we decided, okay, 2 more weeks, we'll probably get it done. So we decided to have a workshop number 2 in January. And the January workshop is the one you're thinking about with Texoma. But that was the one and only time we had a January workshop not hosted by a partner, is the one you're thinking about, which is pretty significant. Yeah, in season 2, jumping ahead a little bit, we started getting partners because we realized you can't partner. You can't have innovations without partnerships. You just can't. With a zero budget team, you can't create prototypes in house, or most of them. We can some, but you really need to depend on partners. You really needed that extra help. So we went out and got our partners. Southwestern Oklahoma State University School of Business and Technology. They were actually looking for projects. We didn't know it at the time. We just kind of sent out requests to multiple universities, but we got a ping back from Southwestern, and Miss Karen Sweeney, Professor Karen Sweeney over there, she really wanted to work with us. So they've become such a great partner with us over the years, and we started out, just with one innovation, giving their students to work on, to now we give them anywhere from, 3 to 8 innovations at one time.
So the projects that you give to SWAZU, or Southwestern Oklahoma State University in Weatherford,
Oklahoma.
In Weatherford, Oklahoma, the projects you give to them, a lot of that is coding and app development type
pretty
things.
Much all coding. We've given them virtual reality. We've given them with 2 different sets of augmented reality. When they're even working on holograms for us, they've coded websites. They've built apps. They've Well, actually, they've built a lot of apps for us. That's a very popular one. And, just the amazement and the passion these kids have, and it grows every season. SWAZU started at just giving us a spring semester. Every spring we'd go and present our ideas to them, and they'd host our innovations workshop number 2, just like they're going to here in a couple of weeks. And the university grew so much because they didn't have to go hunt for their own projects. They had cool stuff coming to them that they actually increased enrollment enough to add a fall class.
Right.
So now we have a spring and a fall class. The fall class is a little smaller than the spring class, but they are continually year-round giving us IT support for pretty much any innovation we think we can't handle in-house. It's an amazing partnership. And just to see these kids are information
IT.
They're information security students. Okay. They're not immersive learning or AR or VR. This is not what they do. They actually are going out on their own, learning how to do these specialties.
Right.
In the 4 months that we give them during these 2 semesters, and they are creating products for us. It is amazing.
So you throw an idea out there and you say, hey, this is what we'd like to see.
Yes.
And they figure out how to accomplish it, all the coding or whatever they have to do to create it, how to make it work. And,
absolutely.
And I mean, and it benefits them, right, too?
It does. I'll give you a really good example because we had a really good example this last time. I actually pitched an idea for augmented reality on a TV screen, live feed. And I have no clue how to do that. I have no clue. I saw it in a museum somewhere where, I had this vision. There's a museum somewhere where it's a live feed, and when you go up inside the feed, it puts an animal hat on you,
right?
And you can't get it off. It's really cool. Kids loved it. My kids loved it when we saw it. So I thought, why don't we do water safety? We'll have the same live feed, and they'll put a life jacket on you, and you can't get the life jacket off. So I put together what could be the worst presentation you have ever seen. I swear these kids were looking at me like I was a 3-headed alien. It was fantastic. Me pitching this thing. But you know what? 4 of them picked it up. They picked it up. And by the end of the semester, I didn't get a full product with exactly what I wanted. But my goodness, they figured out the technology behind it to overlay a life jacket on top of a torso where we can at least have a water safety mirror in our visitor center so that I have a screen that one person can walk up to one at a time, and it puts it on them. And you can't get it off. You can go, do silly stuff and all that good stuff. But, and then I got assurances that from the same team, there are 2 kids who are going to be with us next year, and he comes to me during the presentation, and he's like, we're going to continue this the next year. You're going to get what you want. To give me to the end of the spring semester. I'm like, okay, I'm going to represent it this spring, and I hope to see you on that team, and hopefully you can carry it forward. But man, just the passion that he had and these guys had, it was a huge victory for them because they figured out something that was really difficult. Really difficult. I'm not even going to pretend to try to figure out how they did it and the coding that was behind it.
Right.
But
and that's, the interesting thing about that too is it's not your traditional classroom style learning thing. It's like they literally are doing a hands-on project that they investigate, they look into. They're learning in a way that, it's like Sherlock Holmesian type, they're really having to look at this technology and break it down and figure out how do we make this thing work? How does it happen? And
absolutely.
And they're probably going to retain it a lot better because of that.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Yeah, but these kids, they get to work with us. I had a 3-person team. Our our innovations team. We had a 3-person sub-team who was working with them. They connected via WebEx every 2 weeks. They get to work with us all through the semester. And, you know, at the end of the semester, when they present the stuff back to us and we get a product, you know, we give them a letter of reference. But, I mean, you know, and a pat on the back and some cool water safety stuff. I mean, it's so crazy just to see how passionate they get with this stuff. It's so exciting for us. It fuels us when we see these guys getting so passionate about what we're pitching to them. And I think there's not many students who come through that program anymore who go hunt for their own stuff. They're sitting there waiting to see what we're going to bring to the table. So
I'm gonna give you an idea, I think, for the next one and try to have you have them come up with.
It's always open to everybody.
Let's see if we can get them to redo audit editing programs.
There you go.
Audio editing programs.
You never know what these guys can do. Yeah, but that's our second meeting revolves all around partners, and our third meeting in April is, all right, guys, we gotta have a pilot location and we gotta have a product fast. The whole last week that we spend somewhere in USACE at a lake somewhere, whoever volunteers to host, it is a mad dash to the finish line. And it's kind of a crazy week. No more students to help. No more. I need more time. It's rubber has met the road. It's time to have something we can touch, taste, and smell. And you know, we almost always hit. Well, I'm not gonna say we. My guys on my team and these sub teams almost always hit the mark. We almost always have. There's a couple of times we've had to table stuff, mainly because that we couldn't do it. It's just that we had competing things in other parts of the country.
And you've had some turnover on your teams too, right?
Oh, we've had some turnover too. Right. That's true. We've had a lot of promotions. Obviously, this team, you know, when we opened it up in season 3 to not just Tulsa but to everybody, you know, those first 4 districts who came on and made us 5. We got some really good people. And ever since then, from season 3, 4, 5, and now 6, and we're up to 22 districts, and we went from 20 people to 50-something people. Yeah, I mean, these districts aren't just sending people, they're sending their innovative people. I mean, this is really good people. And it's not shocking to see that these guys are getting steady promoted. And, you know, when you go from park ranger to manager, all of a sudden you really don't have the time to work on innovations.
Yeah.
So I lose a lot of guys like that. And it hurts. It does.
And you know, one of the dangers too of like, and I'm sure a lot of your people they're newer. A lot of you know, when you first come into an organization, you can see things. You haven't been quote unquote institutionalized by the organization. So you have fresh eyes and you're like, why are we doing this way? This is so like, and maybe there was a good reason for it. Maybe there was initially, but then, you know, you're like, well, but the technology's different now. We don't need to be putting money in metal boxes anymore. We can, you know, we've got the ability now to accept credit cards. You know, we can do these different things. And that's talk about some of the things your team has implemented since the innovations teams.
Some of the more popular things actually are related to what you just said, fees. We came up with self-service camping. That was one of our first things, where essentially you go to your own, basically you pick out your own campsite, you scan with a QR code, and you fill out the reservation information there, and you got the site. While you're at the site, you can also, if you really like it, scan the QR code, and you can book it for other weekends and dates further down the road. You don't have to stop at the gatehouse. You don't have to back the line up. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to have interaction. You don't have to touch money. You don't have to do anything. It's touch less all the way around. And that's been highly popular. We also had...
How many lake offices or parks have we put that into now? That
I would say using our system in Tulsa, probably Probably 30 or 40. It's very popular with the
30 or 40 parks.
It's very, very popular with the non-Class A's.
Oh.
And then some Class A's, they do it. RS1 has come out with, after we did ours, RS1 came out with a similar product.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're kind of pushing people to go that way now instead of using ours because, we're not a product team. We're a prototype team. So if RS1 or somebody else who has more resources and has deeper pockets than us, and with, of course, a $0 budget, everybody's got deeper pockets than us. But, if they can do it, if they can take that idea and do it better, let them. They're all for it. So, yeah, we're pushing folks to go that route. In the same way with the day use fees, we found a way through pay.gov to do day use fees where you basically go into a park and you scan a QR code, you pay for whatever activities you want, be boat launch, whatever, shelter rental, whatever you have, and you pay right there off the signage, and you put in your license plate number and you're done. You, again, don't have to run into any park attendants. You don't have to run into any core personnel. Now, core personnel will come check,
Right.
and it's a pretty cool. It's a very cool way of doing things because Pay.gov actually makes the app for us for free. It makes the form for the public for free. And they also take care of all the transaction fees. So we're doing day use for free on our side, and the public is not having to pay for their side except for the fees. And it's just I didn't think we could ever get any better than that. It's hard to beat that. To top that.
Can your experience as a park ranger who's had to go to collection boxes and pick up money and deal with that can you explain just how big of a deal that is, and especially for park rangers who have to go to those boxes, account for that money? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely, yes. It was really more of a burden than people thought on our workforce. As stipulations go, I mean, you're supposed to send 2 rangers. You can't do it alone. You send 2 rangers to our honor vaults, and you take a day, you go to each park, and you pull a vault. So they're just pulling the vaults all day, pulling vaults at all these days areas. They take those vaults at the end of the day, they put them in a closet, and all the vaults are locked, which these 2 guys do not have keys to. They just have keys to the vaults. So it goes into a closet, and they shut the door. Okay, so that's 2 8-hour employees that you spend all day pulling vaults. It doesn't end there. After that, the next day, 3 more people come out. One person who is your rec fee cashier has a key. They unlock all the vaults, and then you go through and you have to count all the nasty money and other
items that have been
other special items that people put in those envelopes.
The nice little messages to you.
Yeah, little notes, messages, all sorts of. Some people fill it with dirt and put it in there.
Yeah,
it's no limit to what they put in there. But you have to count all that, and then all 3 people, or sometimes 4 people, depends on how large your project is. I mean, it could take half a day just for 4 people. Then again, you have 4 people's half-day labor just to count money and to audit it and make sure it's right before they take it to the bank. And there are other procedures in auditing past that also requires more labor to do as well. But I won't get into that.
And that money goes where?
The money?
The fees that we receive.
Oh, it goes back to the Treasury.
Yeah, the Department of the Treasury.
Yeah. So, they send all that off, and, all those hours, I mean, you take that process right there, and you multiply it by 409 lake offices across the country.
Yeah.
in those hours.
And you'd have honor boxes at just about every site, right? Like every site with like a fishing, or I mean a boat ramp, excuse me.
Yeah, anywhere there's a ramp, anywhere there's a facility where we need to,
right,
or we're
especially
legally allowed
public
to
use areas, day
fees.
use areas, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one thing when people are coming in where there's a gate attendant, right, at like a park like that, but it's another thing when you're just going to like a day use area and you're having to check those every day, right?
Now, in heavier places, yes.
Yeah.
Where I was at Altoona and in Atlanta, yeah, we would pull those at least once per week. And on holiday weekends, we'd actually have to be very careful and pull it twice a weekend.
Yeah.
Because they'd overflow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got, from our perspective, from the Corps' perspective, honestly, if it gets broken into and stolen, it's the Treasury's money. It's not our money, but we end up having to replace the vault, right? And then then you've got to do reports, the police report stuff, and turn all that information.
It does, but really, not accepting cash or not doing the vaults the way we do them anymore. I mean, vaults were just target for vandalism.
Yeah.
I mean, they really were. People were using coat hangers to try to get the fees out. And, we're not hanging cameras up around a fee vault. We don't have the money to do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to get rid of those vaults was such a huge burden relief for, and I'm sure there's some places in the country that still do vaults. But at least now I know at least with our team, there are management options where you don't have to do vaults anymore.
Right.
Now, one of our other ones, which is pretty special, is our mobile POS. And what that is.
What does that stand for, POS?
Point of sale.
Okay.
And basically, that's credit card purchases for annual passes or America the Beautiful passes. And we'd go to boat shows and sell those passes, and all we could take was cash.
Right.
So at the end of Saturday or Sunday, at the end of the boat show night, you would have a park ranger walking back to his car in the dark with $4,000 or $5,000 worth of cash and the money back.
Right.
Not a good situation.
No.
So we developed mobile POS, and basically it's just credit card machines. But we couldn't just have any credit card machines. We have to find a way to do it through certain channels. But we did. We found a way to. We found a path for these mobile POS credit card machines, basically tablets and receipt printers. And that has really helped not only boost our sales at the boat shows, because people wanted to use credit card, they just couldn't.
Yeah, people don't carry cash hardly anymore, right?
Yeah. And, now they can just do credit card, and it's no risk to either side.
Right.
Our park rangers can walk back to the car in the middle of the night, and if they get attacked, it won't be because they're carrying a bag of cash.
Now, does that with that process, that money is automatically gone to the Treasury at that point? Like, so it really, and with America the Beautiful passes, based on the lake office typically, right, that sells them, they can actually return that money to the project to assist.
I believe that's the way it was originally set up. I'm not 100% sure if that's the way it is now.
Okay.
I'd have to ask where the money actually goes. But eventually, in the beginning, that is how it was set up.
Are we doing any of that mobile POS type stuff with the special purpose areas now? Like off-road vehicles?
I'm not sure.
Because that money is allowed to go back. Special purpose, right?
Yeah.
That is allowed to go back to help that project improve recreation.
Yes.
And that's like one of the very few things, because typically any type of fees go up to the Treasury.
Yeah.
And then you have this one little caveat or these few caveats that it actually can go back to benefit the project, or possibly benefit the specific,
Now, I know they are using I know they're using them now in the visitor centers or the small project offices at our lakes. they've started doing selling them that way. And I think some people may be using it for shoreline management. I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
But, as in all these things, I don't know all the applications. We're basically developing the technology to conquer the need that we needed, and we also explore what it can be used for. But honestly, once that gate is open and it's good and everybody's on the right path to using it, I mean, you can go down almost any corridor on a lot of the stuff we create.
What you all did work with the real estate inventory system, right? Isn't that real estate?
We designed RET Starter. It never really took off. It's still trying to take off in some places. RET Starter was a system that we did build, a web-based system that we did actually build in-house, just on the team, me and James Vincent. And because I'm decent at HTML, and he was doing really good at getting code too, somehow. But we developed and built that one, and it was basically a precursor to RETs. When you're going to build a package, this is how you build it.
Right.
RETs is, okay, you got a package, let's put it on the system and let's process it. RET Starter was going to be, this is how you build it.
Yeah.
For that one, we had Texoma who was involved, but they did so many packages, they got so good at it, they didn't need a step-by-step help. Neither did Eufaula. But a lot of the other smaller lakes, I think we might be bringing it back now, just to help those guys, because they only do one or two a couple of months.
Well,
so
just so that people understand what RETs is, can you tell them about what that is and what why that system was, why you were looking at trying to?
Oh, well, the real estate tracking system, I'd really rather refer to Abby on it, but because Abby Jones, she's the point of contact on it for operations. I don't get all the inside information.
But on the innovations team, you guys came up with that as a project initially, because the Rangers were. It was taking a lot of time for smaller offices, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, RETs was developed before I got here.
Right. Of course. Yeah. But the starter pack, right?
Real estate built that in InfoPath, and eventually it got moved to the SharePoint with ACIT taking over because it was a good product. It really was. But it's a real estate tracking system. It takes a real estate package electronically from desk to desk to desk for signatures and through the processing cycle. Okay. Instead of paper flowing through the district, it's electronic. And it's much easier. It cuts down review times, and it's actually becoming pretty popular between when other districts see what we're doing on it. It's a very good system. The only flaw I saw was what we were doing with RET Starter, and that's a precursor to maybe show people how to put packages together, because we get so many new guys in the district all the time who you come off the street, you're not going to have to put a real estate package together. It's something you got to learn. Mm-hmm. And unless you're at one of the bigger lake offices, you don't do it that often.
Right.
So, all the stuff that our guys have to remember, all the programs, especially the smaller lakes, because, they don't get the bulk of the workload, but they have to do everything, the gambit of different job duties and responsibilities. They have to remember more. So it would be nice if they had a system like RET Starter where they could just flow through. It'd tell you what you need to do and do it for you.
And that's what you guys worked on, is something to basically help.
Yeah, that's actually what we have. It's actually a semi-finished product. It was finished back in 2018, but then the forms changed a little bit. We haven't updated the forms. Okay. That's really the only thing that's lacking on it, is really converting to the new forms.
What other initiatives? What are you working on now? What's?
Man, we've got a lot of really cool stuff happening. Our top 4 for this year, the brand new ones, we're working on a core marketplace. And the core marketplace is where, say, you were in Mobile District or Nashville District or whatever district, pick one, and you had a projector.
Tulsa District.
Well, you can't pick Tulsa because I'm going to pick Tulsa, but you're in another district.
Okay, I'm an Alabama guy, so I'm going to go with Mobile.
Okay, you're in a Mobile District, and you have this projector. You got some money for a new projector for your visitor center. Well, the old one's fine. Nothing wrong with it. It's just outdated technology to you. You could take that down and put it on the marketplace and say, hey, this is something I have spare. Does anybody else need it before I surplus it? Because once you surplus it, it's gone.
Yeah.
Well, here in Tulsa, I may be building a visitor center or have a need for a projector, and I'm looking at $3,000 to $4,000 to get a projector. Well, in the core marketplace, I can just say, hey, can I get your projector? And basically, I pay shipping for it, and we exchange.
And you work with logistics to make sure that all that...
Well, that's the trick with this innovation is that my team has to figure out the logistics of the logistics. I know it sounds like...
I understand, yeah.
But it literally is the logistics process of the logistics group that we're going to work with. We got to figure out how to build it. We got to figure out how we're going to share it with everybody. And we got a lot of ins and outs on it. So they've already done the research. All of our innovations have been researched and developed and scoped for policy. So at this point right now, we're trying to build and push forward. At least that's where we're supposed to be on the meter. Outside of the core marketplace, which I like using used equipment and saving money and because I can do a lot of cool stuff with used equipment. Outside of that, we also have Ranger holograms. Yeah, you heard me, Ranger holograms. We are building park Ranger holograms for visitor centers where...
is this like going to be like Avena in Mass Effect? Video game? No, you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay.
It's going to be a hologram. Virtual... You walk into a visitor center, you push the welcome button, and a hologram's going to pop up and tell you all about the visitor center.
Wow. And
then you're going to push another button.
The person who works the front desk.
Yep, that'll be your front desk person.
They're gonna hear that the entire.
Probably if you go with this technology. But of course, it's adaptable. But just to be able to have that technology, and that's something we're going to throw at SWAZU and our newer partners at UC Davis, trying to figure out the best way.
So who's your new partner?
UC Davis, University of California, Davis.
Wow.
Our Northwestern representative, Andrew Huddleston, developed a pretty cool partnership with University of California, Davis. We've already talked to the professor there and had several conversations. It will be a partnership, but not really a real written out partnership like SWAZU. Basically, you submit packages for their group, but their group, unlike SWAZU, is their students are, their curriculum is AR, VR, immersive learning, and all the mad tech you see out in the latest gadgets and stuff. So getting those guys on board may take us a little further. It just depends. We'll see. We've submitted 6 different innovative packages for the spring semester. So we'll see if they jump on any of those. We'll have to see. It is competitive. So, but I have a feeling since we've been working with them and they're really interested in what we do, that I think they'll at least pick up one of ours. I don't know. We'll have to see. But very excited to see how the outcome of that is, and if they pick it up, how advanced this might get on some of our stuff.
So you're sitting here and I'm watching you tell me about these projects and everything, and you're having fun. You really are having fun with this.
I totally
just
enjoy
seeing.
innovations.
I mean, it seems like you're really enjoying the process of like just seeing what kind of stuff you all as a team can come up with, and then watching these young people, especially like rise to the occasion and accomplish what it is you're trying to accomplish.
It's all fuel. It fuels my fire to see success, especially people using our products, our guys getting victories, our guys getting awards, our universities getting awards. The sheer passion you see on those students' faces when they do graduation, the sheer passion we're going to have, just for example, not next week, in January when we go to SWAZU. Our third day at the conference, at the workshop, will be our students will come in around 12 o'clock because their class is from 12 to 1:45-ish, something like that. They will come in. We will pitch 5 innovative items at them. My guys will be pitching those. And when they get finished pitching, they're going to take a big sign that says what their, like virtual reality or augmented reality screens, and they're going to be holding them in different parts of this 4,000 square foot room. And at the last presentation ends, I'm hopefully going to get Abby to do this so I can video it, because I want to video it this year. I missed out in 2000.
You're going to watch them line up and see where they go?
No, they don't line up. They're gone. We actually had kids during the last presentation. We had a couple of big guys get up, and they were leading off first base. They were taking leadoff steps around the horseshoe because they knew where they were going.
They were like hungry cattle being let out in the field.
They were. Well, the trick is you only have 4 or 5 per team slots.
Right.
So you know what you want. You have to go. Oh. And it's not like my guys haven't been recruiting them all week because they hang out with us during our workshop. That's why the SWAZU one is so special in January. The kids can hang out with us. There's a lot of recruiting going on, even though I told them they can't recruit. They recruit anyway. I can't stop them. And they're building relationships with these kids. Yeah. So, it is so magical at probably, I'm guessing, around 1:15 when that last one ends. And I let Abby get up there, and she's like, all right, hold up. We're not done yet. And then she says, all right, guys, you ready? Go. See, last time we didn't have big signs, so they were a little confused, I think, of which way to go. This time we will. It'll be clear where you're going to go if you want to be part of this team.
This is going to be in January?
Yes. And I'm going to film it this time. This time it's going to get filmed. I may have to give me some kind of ladder or something just to be able to see over everything. But it is just so encouraging. I mean, for our team, our sub-teams who are already passionate about what they're doing, to see anywhere from 4 to 8 college kids running at them to be part of what they're doing, and they're going to take this technology to the next level for you. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's a great experience. I highly recommend it to everybody.
Yeah, and that's we guess we can't tell people that they should have their kid who's interested in these technology initiatives to go to SWAZU or UC Davis, but if you go to those schools, you might end up getting a chance to work on some of these projects.
Well, we keep, part of team leadership on the team is try to expand those resources and try to find new partnerships to accommodate what all our guys are going to come up with at these summits at the first of the year. I mean, what they come up with, I got to figure out a way to make it happen, and there's got to be resources behind it. There's no clue what our guys are going to come up with and what they're going to vote in.
We should totally we should do one of these podcasts with Karen and do one with the students.
Oh, that'd be great.
One of the teams.
Really would.
Maybe we'll go out there in January and
sure.
Well, I mean, I can set this up, do it in the field. It'd be like a field recording, so it's not difficult. So if Karen's interested, and I've talked to her before, and I remember just listening to her talk about.
Oh, she's very
listening to her talk about how when she came into this, and she had no idea what it was going to turn into. I mean, it is pretty impressive, and I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you get to talking about innovations and you can go on and on and
Oh
on.
yeah,
We
can
can
go on
talk
for
all
a
day,
while.
especially about the different. I know you've had you've had award winners come out of innovations.
Yeah, we've had 2 national award winners.
Yeah, Shauna Poland, who's
And
up in where's she at now?
Noel.
Yeah, and Sarah Noel. Yep.
Irony, SWAZU built both their innovations for them.
Did they?
So SWAZU is 2 for 2 winning core national awards.
Wow, wow.
Believe it or
SWAZU is
not.
just killing it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, those it's very impressive to see what you all have been able to accomplish because I mean I don't know it's very easy to just go along and do the same old thing and you say this is
absolutely.
kind of annoying but you know whatever it's the way it is and it is what it is and just you know
Just push time.
go along to get along and don't push any buttons.
But I would be remiss if I didn't mention our third and probably closest partner, the Core Foundation.
Yeah, they've done a lot, right?
I can tell anybody who's out there listening, if you have not at least talked to the Core Foundation or have been, at least talked to them, they are the greatest asset to the innovations team outside of SWAZU that I could ever ask for. I mean, it's hard to compete when SWAZU's putting up $500,000 of IT help,
Right.
But I mean, right there with them is the Core Foundation. They find whenever I have a challenge that I can't get around, they're there.
Yeah.
Every time. They host our Google Play Store. They are working on hosting our Apple developer account so we get some stuff on Apple. They've come in and been a lifesaver on some of these pilots that you wouldn't believe. I mean, they swooped in like Superman, put the effort in.
Saved the day.
And yeah, they literally saved the day on a lot of these pilots that we were running. They have been just outstanding to work with. That group, you really can't. It's easy to put a price tag on SWAZU because you can just do the hours.
Right.
You can't put a price tag on the Core Foundation. They've just been phenomenal and they're helping us out.
So
being there for us.
Give us a teaser into one of the projects you're hoping you can push, or can you do that? Can you give us a teaser into something you're looking
into
at?
One of the
in January?
Like the
how many different projects are you going to pitch in January?
Oh, in January to SWAZU.
Yeah.
I can say that. Honestly, I can't. I don't know 100% sure. I think there's going to be 5 or 6. But honestly, from a team lead standpoint, I really don't know. I only have the information that they've given me to this point because, we let these sub-team leads, we let them run.
Okay.
It's part of their development. They don't understand they're being developed, but they really are, especially these that have to work with national teams and with USACE proponents. We have a couple who are. I try to get involved sometimes, but sometimes I don't. I back off just so they can get that experience to work with those guys and to, all these conferences we go to that I try to get our team members to go to, get them exposure to other agencies. Mm-hmm. Partners, private sector, everything that comes with all these different innovative facets that are going on around us. Anything I can expose them to try to get them mentally in an innovative mindset, that's where we're going with it.
Nice.
With their development.
You started off as a district program.
Did.
You moved up to basically pretty much division wide. And probably N plus some.
Those 5
plus a couple,
basically.
And now it's a national program and I mean, did you ever see it turning into this? Did you think it could?
No, I did not. I really thought it'd be a Tulsa District thing forever. I was blown away. I was blown away when other districts were willing, just off basically my credibility and what we've done here in Tulsa, I mean, we didn't require them to send anybody or to be part of this. They open-handedly said, hey, you guys are doing some cool stuff. We want to be part of it. And we believe that you can do it and get it done. And they've sent some of their best folks to help it happen. And they're paying the travel and labor for these folks every single time.
Wow.
And that blows me away too. That really fuels the fire to keep going and do the very best that we possibly can, just to know that grassroots support is there. And, they believe in the program and the team. It's highly encouraging.
And now you've got a welcome center too?
Well, we're working on a visitor center.
Okay.
We found a visitor center here in the Tulsa District that I don't want to say it's abandoned, but it kind of is, because it got damaged in 2018 and it got damaged in 2016. They vacated it, and in 2018 they were able to get the money to repair the roof. So we have a wide open visitor center here that we are partnered with the Ports of Catoosa and our innovations team to put back innovative I can't think of the word. Put back innovative displays.
Okay.
And we've had several meetings on that, and where it's going to be slow going because obviously we don't have any money.
Right.
But since we had the lab, and we got the lab back in 2020, I've been looking for a place to put our innovations, to test them out, a place to pilot here in Tulsa District. And we don't have any visitor centers here in Tulsa District, so I had to go find one. And luckily enough, I did find one. And with that one, we've got a very excited partner who they want to invest in it. And they also want us to invest and make it more interactive. They want to invest on just the materials and making nice stuff for it, but they want us to make it pop and do all the really cool stuff like the holograms, maybe some QR code rangers, the augmented reality screen that we're talking about with the life jackets.
Can you do an augmented reality locking through a lock?
Possibly. I mean, I can't.
No, I mean, that would be a cool. I mean, because anyone who's never, it's not like you can't if you have a boat and the access to the river, but like that's a pretty neat experience. I don't think most people understand how that even works, or.
Well, next, I don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
In September. But everybody's welcome. It's not just the team. It's the only meeting we have where the entire Corps is welcome to come.
You tell those SWAZU kids that they're going to be able to go block through all the locks in the dish, all the way to the White River.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I think the ports should really be into that too.
Yeah.
They get them excited.
Well, hey, thanks a lot, Jason. Is there anything you want to add that I need to include in this particular episode?
No, I think that covers most of the basics. But like I told you before we started, it's innovations. It's constantly moving, constantly changing. We can have the same discussion next month and it'll be completely different.
Right.
So it's just an ever-evolving process. And it's, to me, one of the coolest programs we have here in USACE. But, of course, I'm biased.
No, I've watched it occur. And it really is amazing. Thank you for joining us for Corpstruction. Corpstruction is a production of the Tulsa District U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Public Affairs Office. This episode of Corpstruction is brought to you by the Innovations Team. Hi, this is Brandon Parrish, host of the Corpstruction podcast. If you've enjoyed this content, please consider liking and subscribing, or provide us with some feedback by leaving a review. If you know someone who might be interested in this content, please consider sharing it.